Hey guys, and welcome to the Bainsainye Show. It's your boy Bainsainye, and again I'm here with he's touching my knee now.
Knee
man. It's
to
very
knee.
weird, man.
I can feel the energies right now.
Yeah, what are you saying, bro?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm very, very good too. It's weird sitting close to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, they kind of look at you.
And you're sitting in my seat.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the camera. You feel the heat coming in. It's lovely.
I'm sweating already.
All right,
he's got some gravitational force in it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't
A lot of force. Brand guy loves it.
Yeah, but yeah. What are you saying, Gordon?
£4 a month. That's what I'm saying.
Is it? What's £4 a month?
5 episodes, 80p per episode. Subscribe, you get the full access to everything: the gun, the skits, the dirt, the everything. Right, so you don't want to miss out. Check it out and give it a go. So yeah, what do I say? Where do I start?
Today we got a very special episode. A very super special episode. I don't even know where to start, man.
Oh, I know where to start. Look, this individual, he's the Sarpanch of Southall, the Minister of Home Office, Suella Braverman's arch enemy, right? The legend of legend, the kings of immigration, the visa machine, churning out them visas left, right.
Oy.
Yeah, we've got Harjap Bhangal. Welcome.
Wow, excited to be here.
Yeah.
So, obviously I'm feeling the energy too.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm from across the table.
Yeah.
Jada energy changi nahi hundi. So, it's great to be here. I watch a lot of clips from your podcast. I see it on TikTok. It comes on my feed.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it comes on my feed. But it comes on, and I've always thought, you know what, it'd be great to like actually sit down and have a chat with these people. And here it is. And luckily, the other week I was watching I think it was only last week or the week before, this clip about the tabla and all of that. And I thought that was so funny. Yeah. And I thought, TK.
Man, you know that moment was a bit weird. It was like it just came out. He was double class teacher, cheated, and then I was a dadin. It just came. It's in that moment. You never realized.
Life becomes beautiful.
Basically,
hashtag.
Yeah, and after I watched that, like within about 24 hours, I got a message from you saying, Buddy would like to interview, and I was like, these are them guys. And he goes, and I was like, okay, is this legit? And I thought, yeah, okay, looks legit. And I thought,
wait, you seem quite excited to be honest.
Yeah, I'm quite excited.
Wow.
Do you know what? Because I get the feeling that I can do on everywhere else I go and interview. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be, obviously, when you go on the Gordy channel, Sky News and all of that, and you can't, so they have to be very sort of cut to cut. Yeah. And even on my own show, I have to be very careful what to say.
Yeah.
I've got an audience of kids and all of that out there. And Siane. And Uncle Auntia, right? But here I got a feeling I can do some dil diya galla.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the Bainsainye Show. Full dil diya galla.
No Ofcom, no nothing.
Yeah. This is like therapy.
Yeah.
This is going to be like therapy.
This is my first question as a therapy. Like, so, how did you get into law? How did it all begin?
Right, I'd love to sit here and spin you a bullshit story, about saying, the justice that you believe God does here and all of this, So I'll tell you how I got into law. Because my old man told me to.
Wow. Wow.
So basically he told me, he goes, Harjap, since about the age of 11, 12, he groomed me. He said, Vakil banna. This is in a family where no one has ever had a degree in about 3 million generations. So, and it's like, topi wali photo chahiye, topi wali photo. And that to which he refers to as graduation photo. Right. You'll be glad to know that topi wali photo is now in a suitcase in a loft. And since it was taken in the year 1998, I've never seen it myself. Wow. Right. So my dad told me to Vakil banna, and I became a lawyer because my dad told me to. And I didn't really have much career choice. I wanted to be a teacher. And so I wanted to be a teacher. And I think partly that's why perhaps I started doing my MATV shows. Because through that I get to do my education and educate the public. So my teacher was being a vakil. But essentially I'm a vakil because my dad told me to.
Right. It was actually not
it's one of them desi strategies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he said, "Tu vakil bana," and he said, "You're shit at science. You got 2 Ds, so you're not going to be a doctor. Je tu doctor ban bhi gaya, to kisi da galat operation kar dena. Ya kisi nu galat goliyan dene, tu 10 bande marne hai, to kisi nu bachana nahi." He said, "You're never going to save anyone. You're going to end up killing 10 people." And I said, "Dad, you're probably right. With a couple of Ds, I don't trust myself." But he goes, "No, you're good at English. You're good at history. You're good at these art subjects." And I so doom bakil banna. And then I had the blinkers on. You know when you put these blinkers on a gori and you say, "But siddhe bhajna, you can't look left, right." I never looked anywhere else. I did my A levels, I did my GCSEs. I did a GCSE Punjabi and A-level Punjabi.
Shout out, I did A-level as well.
Yeah. I just did GCSE, but the A-level the mukka nahi milya na.
Right, so, and I did it because I used to live in Essex, in a small bend called Rainham. So I did it in the London Borough of Havering. And I was the only one in 1991 sat in this big hall doing a GCSE Punjabi, and there were 3 teachers, invigilators, and I was the only one sat in the hall. And I said to 2 of the teachers, "Tusi kar chal jao, cha chu piyo, tusi kal nahi baithe ho, I'm going to copy. There's no one here." So tusi 3 jane kyun? And then I did the A-level. This is not being taught by Gurdwara or anything like that, or Punjabi classes. My mum taught me at the age of 14. So I just learnt that. Had to come to Southall, Verdi Brothers, to get the books, because we couldn't even get the books where we were. So we had to travel all the way over there, got the books, done that, and so got A grades. But at that time, at uni, when I had my uni offer, they specifically said, we're not going to accept your Punjabi A-level as part of your entry requirement. And I said, why? If I'm a Gora and I had an English, a GCSE A-level, they go, no, that's your native tongue is Punjabi. And I said, so English is a native tongue for English people. You accept an English language one, don't you? And English literature one, but you don't accept a Punjabi one. But I hope they do now. But in them days, they didn't. So.
No, they do now. They do. They do count it and they add the points in. It's like a point system. Yeah, now.
In my time, they didn't either. Yeah.
Really?
I'll tell you, Mataya was, he was, my family relatives, J.S. Nagara, wrote the books. So he, I think I got a C grade because he saw my paper and just said, yeah, here you go.
Big respect to him, man.
Yeah.
And that guy, single-handedly, is the reason why we have Punjabi A-level and GCSE here. And a lot of people don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
And he wrote all the books. And, that guy fought a whole system to get Punjabi GCSE and A-level.
Exactly.
So if people are sitting at home thinking, why should we need to do... if you can do a Spanish GCSE or an A-level or a German... Spain, Germany, innit? So or do your Punjabi one. There's no excuse for it. And even people my age who think, you know what, I want to learn Punjabi, read and write it. Go and do it. It's never too late to learn Punjabi.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's great. And in fact, look at me. I've made a career. It's been so good for my career because I can speak Punjabi and I can read and write it. And it's so useful as a language. So, I don't know, you're going to learn your language. But yeah, my old man made me learn everything. He made me learn everything, and he told me what to do. And I went to uni, did law, spent 4 years trying to find a job becoming a vakil. In between, decided to give up, and I said to Dad, I want to become a builder. He gave me a shovel, and he goes, "Hey, put afar. It'll koi qualification nahi chahiye." I did it for a year, and I thought, "Badi lana, I'm alright." So yeah, I am a vakil because of my dad.
So talking about Chacha and Fufur in like Spain or wherever, so where did you get the inspiration for immigration then?
As soon as I left uni, so then I started looking for a job, and I couldn't find one. Every job there were about 300 applicants. Yeah, I got a 2-2, so that didn't help. I spent all my years at uni, bangade bande and going to gigs. Gig nahi koi miss kita. Lessons sare miss karte. And I was one of them guys who used to turn up to exams and just sort of wing it. And I winged it, and I got my 2-2, come out, but I couldn't get a job. And without Jan Pachan, it's hard to get a job. So I started fitting windows with my dad. I went to fit windows at a vakil's in Bethnal Green. So I went to fit windows at a vakil. And I used to talk to him in Punjabi and Hindi. My Hindi's really good as well. I watched a lot of films growing up, man. And a lot of Punjabi films. That's why I get a lot of Punjabi songs, Hindi songs. So I learned my languages from that. And he asked me, he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've done a law degree." He goes, "Why are you fitting windows with your dad?" I said, "Because it's a job. He needs And he goes, "Well, come and work with me." So I fitted his windows and then after that, I started working with him. But if he was so busy, he gave me a book. And he goes, "Here you go. Read that. And now you're going to answer people's questions when they phone." And I said, "But I'm not a vakil. I'm just started on my job." And he goes, "Well, fuck it. This is what you got to do." I literally swallowed the Bible on immigration, read everything that I need to do. Then I used to start answering people's phone calls when they phoned in. Like, and I used to look it up and find out and all of that, and did that. And I think from that, I just became like a walking encyclopedia on immigration. And then I just thought, this is my niche. I'm with my own people. What better job? You get called Vakil Saab, and all I do is sit here and talk Punjabi all day.
Yeah.
You know, this is amazing. You know what I mean? So then I found out that there was so many Punjabi people in need and needed educating, and our people didn't really have a clue about immigration. They just knew about this one word, visa, and that's it. And they didn't know how to get it, what its terms and conditions are, what's the best way to play, look for your best interest in the future, you know. So then I just stuck with immigration, and that's what I trained in. I had to train at 3 different firms. I still hold the world record. I hold a few world records. We'll go into that, right? Yeah. So girls seem to get married to. World record, mate. 88. 4 in a weekend. 2 sisters at the same time.
2 sisters?
Boy.
Bro, I got some stories, bro. I got some stories. It was like mastermind. I don't know. One was asked wrong question. One was like this. I was like this. I was like this. Yeah. It was sort of ended on when one goes, how many points you got in your license? And I said, "Tu sali DV lich kam kardi hai. What the heck do you want to know how many points I got on my license?" Yeah. I said, "Mom, small se check karo ina mure atni gal banni." Right. But so yeah, it was like I became that in immigration, and then it took me 4 years to do a 2-year training contract at 3 different firms. Done it, and then became an immigration vakil, and bang, here I am today. And like my journey, you know, a year later opened my own firm. I was in Rainham, in Essex, in a small village. There's only about 20 Punjabi families. There definitely no Fodgies there. So all my clients used to come from Southall and Hayes. So then I spent a year doing the A406 by car, a year and a half. I used to leave home at 7, not get to Southall at 10. If I left Southall at 5, I wouldn't get home to 8. So I started leaving Southall at 8, 9, getting home at 10:30, 11. And then I thought, I can't do this. So then we just moved as a family to the hood. From a nice Gora village, like people think up Bahana hood Gora the village, the nice post office hogi, countryside hogi. I had all of that. I left all of that and came into the hood on King Street.
The hub.
Do you want to explain a little bit of King Street? Like, what's the settings? Because you talked like in terms of where was your firm positioned?
Yeah. First of all, I'll tell you how I got the jaga in King Street.
Yeah.
So I came to find an office in Southall. For 3 weeks, I came on my own. I used to come to Southall. I used to go on the Broadway. Couldn't find anything. The rents were too high. One office I remember looking at, it was infested by pigeons above the Balika Bazaar on the Broadway, yeah?
Right.
And you had to go these steel corrugated steps to go up there. And I thought, Bella ta koi siana ne charna hi nahi. My clients climbed fewer steps getting to the plane than they would have come into my office.
Yeah, true.
There's less stairs at an airport than that would have been in that place. And then and I was like, oh, right. Then I gave up to Dad. I said, Dad, so talent jaga milni. And he goes, chal main janna ek din. He left at 7 o'clock. 9:30 I got a phone call. Aaj jaga mil gayi Harjap, bahut badhiya hai, aake dekh la. I said, you've only been there half an hour. He goes, koi gal nahi, apne bande aa nawe shehar to come and see it. He was a Bains as well, right?
Shout
out. Bains always deliver. Right. So, and I went there, and Dad called me to a pub, the Havelock Arms. I said, "Main pub ch beh ke hun salah dunga." Well, that's probably where a lot of my clients will be, right? Yeah. At the end of the day. And he goes, no, above it. So there were 2 rooms above the pub, and where illegal immigrants used to stay themselves. So I went there, it had no internet, no nothing. And so that's it. That's how I got that place. And then I was literally above a pub in the hood, on the most famous road in probably South, or Havelock Road or Broadway. They're the main ones, Park Avenue. They're the 3 famous roads, right? I was on Havelock Road, on the corner, on a one-way street, very little parking. The benches near Havelock Road, everyone notorious for alcoholics and drug users. And, you know, it was proper hood. But I just felt like, this is where I belong. This is my people. Because growing up, in my whole secondary school, and this is hard for people who come from West London and Birmingham to fathom, I was the only Asian in my whole secondary school. It was all Gore. There's only me and one Kala. And that was it. And the Kala was fast. And he was the fastest, you know, it's all stereotype. Wicked at football, fast, not really good in exams, So I used to get racism every single day. I used to get asked if I got 6, 7 brothers and sisters when my dad owns a shop. And all of that sort of questions. I got attacked about 2 times because of my race. I remember I got attacked on a bus once, this was in a place called Upminster. And then I came to uni, Kingston. And the first thing I saw at uni was these much foot gavaru, mucha perms. No, that's Sardar Girl type perms,
Yeah.
And the nantiya in the ears, the baliyan and all that. And the Wolverhampton boys, they're slapping their butt and And I thought, man, this is what I've been missing out on. This is my people. This is where I belong. Never seen a Gora since. So it's I came to my area. I came to where I belong, and now I'm part of the fixture and fittings of Southall and the whole community. And I built up a whole community. It was great. And, I was really I felt really adopted by Southall, and I was 16 years I was there, but literally above a pub. Then it became a bookies. Now it's a safety deposit locker thing. Then it became a casino. So everything changed, and
I swear that area is a bit dodgy though, isn't
bro,
it?
it's like the proper hood, man. I'm telling you. I remember I used to walk out in the evening, and there used to be like prostitutes sitting in their doorway, druggies. I have seen guys sitting there up on him one day, tie a tugger around their arm, popping a vein, and shooting up, and there's women and kids walking past. And I used to ask these people, why don't you do this stuff in your home? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਰੋ ਦੇਖਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਲਾਗੇ ਥੋੜੀ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੱਜਦੀਆਂ and it's a hotbed for mental health issues, social ills. I remember there was a case, someone in the cemetery across the road from Havelock Road, Gurdwara, someone burned himself alive.
Really?
Alive.
Wow.
It's called immolation. So he put petrol on himself, burned himself alive during the day.
Wow. During the day, because that's how dukhi he was. And it was
there was that bridge as well when you enter into Norwood Green. You remember that, where they used to sleep under the flyover?
Yeah, they used to sleep under there. And we, as part of we were going out from the Gurdwara once during the first student visa sort of crisis in 2010. We found a pregnant girl sleeping in a phone box.
Right.
Yeah, so, it was like, what the heck was going on? So, Southall, for all its greatness, and when people see it, when you actually live there and go there on a daily basis like I used to, you used to see all the social ills and the problem, and then you realise, look, our community has got massive problems, huge problems, and it's not just immigration related, it's to do with everything: alcoholism, drug abuse, domestic violence, mental health. We've got such big issues, male suicide, that these sort of issues need to be addressed. Yeah. And although people were doing their stuff and addressing it, there was no sort of national sort of platform or where these were talked about and stuff like this. That sort of used to eat at me every day.
So and then is that because that's what I've seen from your shows? Is that where your drive became to basically push social issues on a public platform, especially on your show?
Yeah, well, the idea was, let's talk about it and let's find solutions and make the world a better place, right? You've got a house, right?
Yeah.
If your garden gets ganda, you go and clean it up. No one else is going to go home and clean your back garden for you, right? You have to clean your own garden up, yeah? Southall is our own house. It belongs to Punjabis. We have to clean our own mess up. What we do, we're very tribal. We go to an area, ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਗੰਦ ਗੁੰਦ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਦਿਨ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਗੈਰੇਜ ਕ੍ਰਾਸ ਚੱਲਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਈਵਰ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੈਂਬਰਲੀ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਗੰਦਾ ਏਰੀਆ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਖੁਦ ਹੀ ਗੰਦ ਪਾਇਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ right and then we sit in those areas and look down on it ਤੁਸੀਂ Southall ਹਲੇ ਹੰਸਲੋ ਹੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਗੰਦ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਇਆ bro ਇੱਕ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਏਰੀਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਗੰਦ ਆਪਣਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਪਾਇਆ ਸੋ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗਾਰਡਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਗੰਦ ਪਾਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਫ਼ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਰਨਾ we can't expect the Gordon to come out and clean our own messes up so this is what they sort of came out. I thought, right, if we can motivate the public just to address our issues and clean our own mess up, there's no reason why we can't make Southall as good as Garrett's Cross. Right, the parking ain't there and all that. Right. But these were the areas which first our communities are attracting. These are the hubs of our areas. Instead, all the Prane Bande move out, and all the Prane Bande were Name once as well.
Yeah, right? They were.
Right. So, and then it's all a matter of looking down. Oh, I live in Ivor. I live in Denham. I live in Langley. Yeah, or I live in Garrett's Cross. I live in here. These areas.
Moving out.
Yeah, all the Ickenham and all that. But the fact is, Sare Appa Southall to bane. Southall gave all of these people who live in these areas a living. Everyone makes a living from there. If Southall's good to have your business in, it's good for us to have our guru cards in. Then surely it's a good place, and all it needs is just a clean up. And we're not doing a favour. We're cleaning our own mess up. even that, what the, up ਵਧੀਆ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਬਣਾਈ. You've seen a kutta, like quite a few of them, as in like a dog. Have you noticed when a kutta sits, poosh maar ke benda?
Yeah.
So not even a kutta wants to sit in gand.
Yeah.
Even a kutta has that knowledge कि मैं poosh maar ke saaf jagah पे बैठना. We as humans need to do better.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to do better. We need to help our own instead of stigmatizing our own, instead of just blaming each other, or instead of just pointing at each other saying you're dirty, you live in a dirty area, this is this. We all contributed to this mess. We can all clean it up. Yeah. Instead, what we do is we move to area. जो area खराब हो ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਆਪਾਂ shift हो जाने.
Yeah.
एक दिन जो garage cross ਵਿੱਚ ਗੰਦ ਪੈ ਜਾਣਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾੜਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣਾ.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's a stage by stage.
It's that chain effect that
it's that chain. In fact, in what we should be looking is to come around and to come back and say, well, hold on, let's clean Southall up, let's clean Hounslow up, let's clean Hayes up. And the worst thing I used to hear was like people who come purane, they say, नहीं नमे बहुत आ गए, ओ बहुत गंद पाਉਂਦੇ ਆ, immigrant बहुत आ गए आ. Like in Hayes, let's say Somalian बहुत आ गए आ, yeah, and नमे student बहुत आ गए आ. And I'm like, that's exactly what the Gori used to say when you came.
Yeah, the BNP and the NF used to say that.
Yeah, used to say that. And I said, you're just feeding into their material. And I said, instead, ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ integrate ਕਰੀਏ. But not more importantly, let's just keep our areas clean.
Yeah.
If everyone just kept their own house clean for a start, and kept their own streets clean, fine. And when I mean clean, I don't mean I mean physically free, but also free from social ills.
Yeah, that's the toughest one.
Free from drug abuse, free from alcohol abuse, you know, instead of that. But it's a long battle. It's a long battle and not one that we're winning.
The problem we have is that when you will go down Southall, obviously everyone's fixed on going to shops, shopping and get out of the area. So no one really actually bothers to look at the anyone who's the drug users or the ones who are on the street, for example, because Sanuki Laga, that's what they think. But you don't know whether fate can put you in that same position as well. But just looking into, because obviously you're quite involved in a lot of social issues that happen. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about initially one particular situation that's happened recently is the Ronan Kanda case. Yeah. Are you able to tell a little bit about what happened in the case, just sort of the facts of the matter? Yeah,
I mean, the facts of the matter are quite sort of very tragic. It's a very tragic case for everyone involved, to be fair. So what happens is you have a group of people in a school, in a Khalsa academy, who are involved allegedly in not so nice activities involving narcotics and drugs. Yeah, so this allegations of what it is, and then one kid owes someone 200 quid. Yeah, so a fight happens at school between them, and since then things get a bit sour. A couple of kids start ordering samurai swords online using their parents' details. Yeah? Go to the post office, pick it up. They premeditate they're going to attack this kid who owes them money, a kid called Bhavandeep. Yeah? So they have drivers to drop him off there. They see this kid coming out of a house. They attack him from behind. They cut him up and stab him in the heart. Kid falls 4 doors away from his house. When the kid falls, they realise we stabbed the wrong kid. This is in fact someone else from our school. Yeah. They then leg it from the scene. They didn't call an ambulance. They didn't put their hands up and say, right, let's try and save him. They leg it from the scene, throw their clothes and whatever and there's weapons in a canal, go home and order a takeaway. Their mates are calling them saying, look, we're trying to call this guy Ronan. He's not picking up his phone. They say, nah, probably you're the phone bandia. They know, they stabbed him up. They'd say, nah, he'll be all right. Nothing wrong with him. The kid dies. He's been stabbed in the heart, 4 doors away from his house. Turns out the kid was going to that guy who owed these two money house to pick up a PlayStation controller.
Right, okay.
And he was walking back home from that. These kids all used to congregate in a snooker club, so they all knew who they were. And these two individuals then, arrested, 16-year-old kids, plead not guilty Kita, it's been caught on CCTV. It's been caught on doorbells. You can see it. You've seen the footage, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. There's no getting away from it. They've done it, right? So he pleaded not guilty. Lack of remorse. Found guilty in a couple of hours. Then they produced these character references saying that they seva bahut kar diya, bache bibe bahut diya. One reference said this guy, one of the murderers, is an asset to the community. From Gurdwaras. Yeah? From Gurdwaras. Now, at the trial, 4 people from a Gurdwara committee come not to support the victim's mother, but to support the murderers. Saying, "Sade mundiyan ne to kuch kita hi nahi." ना फिर वीडियो किहदी बनी हुआ है ना तलवारां कैन ऑर्डर कीतियां है ना they know, right, basically. But what are people going to do from a Gurdwara committee going to support murderers about, right? So if you, personally, you can deal drugs, you can drink, you can support murderers in a personal capacity, but when you're a Gurdwara committee member, it's a full-time job. It's a Gurdwara committee members are chosen from people who are the most upstanding and supposed to be the best of our community to serve our faith and to run our highest of religious institutions where our guru sits. If you want to do that, support murderers, resign. Resign and then do what you want. But till this day, these people haven't resigned. They say, no, we did nothing wrong. And that issue sort of, what happened was, I was at a wedding and someone said, "Have you heard about this issue?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, here it is. Do you want to talk to the mum of the boy who was murdered?" And I said, "What do you want me to say?" And then they just said, "Why don't you just hear her out?" I listened to her and she was like, "Harjap, I just feel I've got nowhere to go. The whole community is against me. My own people stood up against me, behaved really rudely against me at the trial. People from the Gurdwara were there supporting these murderers who killed my son. There was no remorse in the eyes. They were trying to intimidate me." And I just thought, here's a woman, single mother, essentially, who's just lost her only son. He was butchered in the street in front, 4 doors away from her house, for absolutely no reason. Yeah. Even the murderers say Ronan was the nicest boy. That's great after you've killed him. Yeah. That's great value and solace to the mother. Everyone says Ronan was a lovely boy. And you see the video, it's just a kid walking down the road.
Yeah, minding his own business.
With his headphones on, right? And he can't come from behind. He didn't even probably know what the heck was going on, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not right. It didn't sit well with me. Then I thought, you know what? Why is everyone quiet on this? Why hasn't people picked this up? And then I found a lot of people didn't know. And the people were trying to hush it under the carpet. And the people who did know, they either didn't want to know or they wanted kept it quiet. So then I interviewed her. I said, "Well, why don't you come on TV and let's interview you and talk about it?" So I interviewed her. Interview got a lot of traction. A lot of the Sangat from Willenhall didn't know. Willenhall and Plek, Gurdwara and Warsaw, they did not know. They did not know that this was the case. Sangat got very emotional about it and felt that they had to do something. And for the last 3 weeks, we've been seeing the Sangat have been turning up there, asking these people to resign, especially the 4 or 5 people involved in supporting the murderers and who gave a letter on a Gurdwara letterhead, supporting murderers. Yeah. Right. It's a big thing.
Yeah. Sorry, just there was a few questions that, I want to ask you relating to the case because I've also saw the video that the Gurdwara committee put out as well.
Yeah.
Now they are saying, this is not my words. They're saying that there is an agenda behind this because obviously the incident happened a year ago.
Yeah.
But there's an agenda by yourselves and I don't know who else, maybe Gone Movement or anyone else particularly involved to create an issue against the committee. And they're saying there's some sort of conspiracy, but I couldn't really unpick what conspiracy was it from
because
the
there is none.
Committee.
Because I don't know any of them. So I don't know any of them. I have got no interaction with any of them. You know, there's no photos of me of them. I don't know who they are. Bro, it wasn't Harjap who went and ordered the swords. It was their kids. It wasn't Harjap who was trying to collect a £200 debt from someone. It wasn't Harjap who sneaked up on someone and stabbed someone in the heart. It wasn't Harjap who threw his swords there, refused to call the police or an ambulance while their classmate was dying in front of them when they realised they got the wrong person. It wasn't Harjap who went home and had a takeaway. It wasn't Harjap for a whole year who pled not guilty. It wasn't Harjap who was sniggering and laughing in court and looking at each other. It wasn't Harjap who, when he got sentenced, gave the thumbs up to his parents.
Did that actually happen?
That actually happened.
This was not...
This one of the killers, when he was sentenced and the judge said take him down, gave a thumbs up to his parents. Like, don't gold medal get again.
Right.
Imagine if you're a mum and your kid's been murdered and you see that. Are you going to lose your shit?
Of course, yeah.
I'm going to lose my shit, right. And there's a bigger issue here, one which hasn't been brought up. But we're lucky it hasn't been brought up because it's not about that. Right. If that kid who had died was a turban-wearing Sikh and the killers were Muslim or Hindus and the mosques or the Hindu temples had given character references saying, Munde bahut change hai, what would be happening right now?
Right.
There'd be rallies, riots, their windows would be smashed in, everyone would be out on marches, right? I think that's sharafat on part of the mum that she hasn't got her people involved.
Right.
And done that. Or that some right-wing extremist organisations haven't picked up on this.
Yeah, I get where you come from on that. Yeah.
Right? So they haven't picked up on this. So we need to look at that. We're always asking for justice. Shouldn't we be dishing it out as well to our own instead of covering it up? Right. So imagine it was your kid who got killed and your Gurdwara local committee members are standing with the murderers. What would you do?
That would be a very, very difficult situation.
Very difficult. You'd want their blood.
Yeah.
So would I.
I do agree because I did hear the father, of Sukhman Gill's father.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now, but he...
Dirat.
He put out a video and explaining his side of the situation. Now, I felt the father had a lack of remorse, but in the sense that he doesn't understand that his son is alive and that Ronan is obviously sadly dead, and that they can't match the same. Because when Sukhman comes out of prison, which is 16 years he's got, he's still
in his 30s.
30, so he still has got his life ahead of him, and that Ronan's gone. So that bit, I think the father really did not grasp and did not put that across enough.
It did not grasp, Garman. Do you know what? You heard what he said.
Yeah,
he said, "Sade munde adi life kharab hoyi hai."
That
Bro,
was really,
your boys bought knives and premeditated a murder. They got people to drive him to the scene. They went with the intention to kill someone. They took the life of someone who had nothing to do with the situation. A guy who's not going to see his 18th birthday, 21st birthday, 30th birthday, not going to get married, not going to have kids. He's dead. He's dead. Yeah. Don't say mere munde di life kharab hoyi hai. Your munda is a grade A arsehole. And it's a murderer.
It's that thing, isn't it? It's like, because mere munde de naal nahi hoya tha, like, you won't sympathize with that, you know? And that, to me, with like listening to, you know, with whether you've been saying and also doing my own research as well, it's just, to me, it's so shocking that apne, like, are not doing more, you know?
Crazy.
And it's like, it's just, okay, cool, I'll just post on social media just to post, okay, chalo, theek hai, that gets engagement, but what else is there to do, you know, like, to get the voice out even more? And it's just shocking, like, you know, it's not exposed enough.
Yeah, it's not.
It's really not.
But I was so amazed that all of our big personalities who have got hundreds of thousands of followers, ek post nahi hona to share hoya. Sharam di gal nahi hai.
It is.
Right. Yeah. Right. They post about their single. They were posting about Surinder Chinda dying and respect to Surinder Chinda. Yeah. And respect to everything what he done. But you can't post about a 16-year-old that got murdered wrongly. But you can post about a 60, 70-year-old guy whose songs you used to listen to, but he died of old age or illness or whatever. He didn't get murdered in the street, bro. Yeah. And when someone like Sidhu dies, you have the whole... These singers are still posting about it. Because essentially they just want to touch into his fan base. That's what it is. Right. That's what it is. They realise it's like vultures going around. But this is when you find out who's in it for themselves and who's in it for the greater good. But the other thing is, all these charities who collect money in the name of Sikhi, all of them, say Appa help kar de community di. पैसे मंगन ਨੂੰ नंबर 1 yeah but ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਪੋਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਹੋਇਆ very disappointed bro very disappointed councillors MPs I'm shocked
what about the William Hall MP
yeah I haven't seen anything from that
do you think it's because the whole case also involves a religious institute? Is it because of that people are afraid to sort of go against it as, or like, you know, do you think it's because of that, or like what do you think?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions in my head. Yeah, somebody suggested Budgie is because he was a Hindu, and look how that reflects.
Yeah, there's a
lot. Oh, munda nahi fe. Oh, sadi community da nahi. He was still a Punjabi. Yeah? And his mum goes to the Gurdwara. Do you know what his mum said to me in the interview? And it was the hardest thing to hear, and I still haven't got an answer for it. She goes, "Inna ne mere Baba Nanak ji de naam ch chitti likhi hai." And the thing was, a lot of the contents of that letter isn't true. They said Munda did seva at the Gurdwara during COVID. During COVID, William Hall Gurdwara was banned, and the langar used to come from home. That's a fact. People living in William Hall will now confirm that with you. So who's doing seva from there, right? So. And he's convicted. He's a convicted murderer. Yeah. So there's no excuse him because of that reference, the character references. They got a year less sentence.
Yeah.
And the judge mentioned it in the sentencing. It's there. Anyone can see it.
It's public. It's on Sky News.
It's public. It's public. It's on Sky News, right? Yeah. So this is not anyone having an agenda or making stuff up. This is facts. When the first show went out, yeah. Before that first show, we got in contact with William Hall Gurdwara. I said, "This is what we're going to show. You're more than welcome to come on." And I've been saying it for 3 or 4 weeks to see Aake Mena Gal Karo TV te. No response. Right. So instead they put out their own video saying people have got an agenda against them. Props to Core Movement who picked up on this, and Sikh Women's Aid. They picked up on this. They're the only 2 sort of voices that, along with my own, who I have seen who picked up on this. Props to you lot for talking about it. There are bigger podcasters than you. There are bigger celebrities than you out there, and me. Yeah, we're nothing compared to right. Appa ko tar al mila ke mera veer 50,000 Instagram follower bani.
Yeah,
है ना?
true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. If you took your kapde off, showed a bit more gode mode and all that, you might boost it to about 20,000-30,000. But gabru hage. Equally, you might lose a few thousand. Galotea in the
Yeah.
So, but the fact is, there are people there in our community who've got hundreds of thousands, 500,000 followers. Amia, TikTok data.
Yeah.
Bakwas people have got 100,000 followers.
Yeah?
Right. किसी ने कोई गल नहीं उठाई. It's just like the whole event never happened. हैं? किसी ने नहीं बहुत माड़ा होया तो फिर गल कहो माड़ा होया, है ना? Right. So that is sort of, for me, there was a meeting on Wednesday before the Friday show got out. Baldeep Singh Olak is a respected barrister from Wolverhampton. Yeah? He's a respected barrister. He is a chairman of Sikhs in Law of that council. Yeah. He's just done a thing on a Bloom report. We did that together. Yeah. But he's right. He went there and he said, look, this is a messed up situation. The Gurdwara should retract that letter and they should just say, sorry, galti ho gayi. And the 5 people involved who went to the trial and the one person who signed the letter should just resign and step back. He goes, that's it. He goes, and no show will go forward. No TV show will go forward. Gal khatam ho jani hai na? You'll have righted your wrongs, basically. Yeah, that's the minimum. Yeah. They literally told him to F off. They said, "Tu kaun hona? Sade wakili na char sade na." And they said to him as a challenge, "Tu karla jo karna, appa khade hain." O mundiana, right? He relayed that back to me. He goes, Harjap, that's the worst 40 minutes of my life that I just had. It was so insulting. These guys just didn't want to listen. They're in the right. And he just said, just do what you want to do. And I said, but Baldeep, I'm glad I sent you in there as a neutral person because you are a witness that this doesn't happen, but this is the attitude that is met with when people think they are God, when people think they are untouchable, when people think we're not here to serve the Sangat, we're here to rule over them. It's seva nahi karte, raj karte hai na? When people in the Sangat their own Gurdwara, which is run by with their money, put the wrong people in charge and just think appa matha take ke aa jana, appa nahi involve hona ee cheezan te. If you're not going to get involved, then the wrong people are going to get involved, and they're going to take over, and they're going to do a power grab on your institutions, which effectively what is happening. Right, and that shouldn't be happening in a place of God. Right, so this, then when the show came out, obviously there's a big response, and the Sangat went there and said, what's this, and wanted tomorrow. They were trying to justify to the Sangat. First of all, they were trying to call the meeting off. They did a video, didn't they? The meeting honi nahi. Why? Meeting karo tusi dasso. Jehde barka maarde tusi video te dasso tusi. Hai na? So it's like that until this day. They haven't resigned.
Yeah, because the video, I saw it when I got up in the morning on Sangat TV. Right, they put a reel. I sent that to God Movement UK, and they were like, "No, what? Where's this come from?" Because they did a whole group. But there's a few questions within what you just asked. So they, in their video, they put forward that the email that you sent went to Shingara Singh, I think
it went to the admin
address. Team. So they didn't all catch the email, and they pinned the blame on it was the Pradhan of the Gurdwara or one person. I think they pinned it all on this whole situation. That's what they said, right? And then
but I've actually on my phone, I made a video of where they replied to me. So how can you reply to an email you never got?
That's the questions that I want to put forward. Also, this is one thing I want to ask you from a legal perspective. As a legal team, if I was the defense team, I would do the same thing. You wouldn't put a reference or a supporting statement. Because it's legally allowed. That's what the Gurdwara committee are saying. And also, I believe the school also did a factual statement.
Yeah, the school was asked by the court to give a factual statement. So when you're ordered by a court, you have to do it. The Gurdwara was not ordered by a court.
Yeah, that's the thing. So this is more of a tactical sense that to reduce the sentence or provide what you call legally a mitigating factor. A mitigating factor is to provide a statement. So their claim is, well, if I can do it by law, then how is it wrong?
Right. So you work for someone, yeah? I've killed someone, and I said, "Mainu Karman te to reference chahiye." Hai na?
Yeah.
You would write it on your personal letterhead, or would you write it on your company's letterhead? And if you wrote it on your company's letterhead, what would happen to you?
The reputation of the company, reputation of my own.
What would be the result? You'd be sacked. For bringing the company into disrepute. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Reputation. Right.
Right. So they've done it on a Gurdwara letterhead, and they should have done it on the personal letterheads, personal capacity. Koi nahi kehanda. References deo. If you were like murderers, no problem, bro. There's no problem with you. If you think what they did was just chopping an innocent kid down in the street 4 doors away from his home, letting him to die, brilliant. No problem. If you think that, do it in your personal capacity. Do not join the Gurdwara's name in your actions. Do not say this is what the Gurdwara says, because the Gurdwara doesn't say that. The Gurdwara Sangat don't say that.
I agree with that. Gurdwara is not an institution to get involved in legal cases.
They should have said, sorry, we can't give it.
Up
on now, they didn't even stay neutral.
Right.
Even the most sensible person would have said, nah, listen, it's a bit, acha. And if they give it for murderers, will they give it for rapists tomorrow? Will they give it for pedos tomorrow? Because surely if a pedo will then say, nahi tusi murderer nu ta ditta hai, mere victim ta hale alive hai, mainu ta double reference deo.
That would be
right. So where does this stop? Where's the line drawn? Or is it only for trustees members' kids or committee members' relatives?
Right.
So me and you tomorrow, if we killed someone, we wouldn't get a reference because our dad isn't Pradhan or trustee of a Gurdwara.
Yeah.
Right. So where does it stop? Where does it stop? And either there should be no reference provided. If you have provided one and it's a galti, then sorry ta mang lo. Or chithi nu mor ke tusi keh deo ke galt hai. You shouldn't be there uckering and trying to justify the worst of the worst. Listen, the embarrassing thing is the attempt to justify, like you said, upper reference de sakde hain, illegal ta nahi hega.
But that's the take, isn't it? If the legal team has said, look, get references, this will be a good factor, and obviously both of the murderers will say, or both involved, haven't got any prior criminal activity. It was more likely the judge, and also they did the incident that it happened when they were 16. So then the sentencing guidelines are slightly different, right?
Slightly different,
so it varies. It can't be the full maximum amount.
No.
So they will inevitably come out of prison unless something happens in there. So if you look at the facts of the case, it's gone through the court system. It's happened. Now, where I think your issue, or where the issue actually lies, is the moral standpoint of the Gurdwara
100%.
and how the case has been managed.
Yeah.
Which I do think.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
And I think also the thing to add on as well, I believe that there's somebody that was from the Gurdwara that didn't know what they were signing and they just signed it.
Well, he claimed that he didn't know how to read or write English.
Yeah.
He said, "Man, the English read or write, bro, you're a general secretary of a Gurdwara. Tu guthe laun lai baitha utte? Je tanu English padhni likhni nahi aunਦੀ, you're supposed to be looking at the mail coming in and replying to him.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, me no English.
Yeah.
Bro, that's the defense of my clients when they get caught by immigration. That's the first thing they say. Me no English, me no English.
Me no English.
Sir, but you got a wage slip. And you got a health and safety certificate. Not me no English, me no English, me no English. I expect that from them. I don't expect it from a general secretary of a Gurdwara who's been appointed there, who's supposed to deal with mail. And if he's not fit enough for his job, why is he there? Why is he there? And, you know, so if you've done something wrong, write it. Hannah, the whole issue here is put your hands up, say galti hogi, aapa sahi kar di.
Move on.
Yeah, because you've hurt the sentiments of a mother.
Yeah.
And you've helped her, the killers of her child, get a year less sentence.
Yeah.
In the name of Guru Nanak.
I was going to say one more thing as well. So they've put an allegation against Ronan's family that that the Ronan's family said something in fact racist towards the committee members or the members who attended the court hearings, or they said something about the bug or Sikhi. Now they did not explain what though, which was a bit confusing. So if you actually piece the video out, I was like, what? But you know a bit more about what happened in the court, or they've made an accusation.
Bro, they're going to try and defend themselves because they're trying to defend their actions. The fact is, they went there as Gurdwara committee members without resigning to support the murderers.
But they said they were family of the family friends.
Bro, resign. Resign as a Gurdwara committee member. And
but anyone's allowed in the public gallery, right?
Yeah, of course they are. But you're also a responsible person from a Gurdwara committee member, right?
Yeah, it's true. The label's on
right,
there.
and it's a full-time job. Unless you take Gurdwara, you're only a committee member or Gurdwara between 10 and 2 on Sunday. That's not it. You're there for the whole term, right?
Yeah, right.
So if we see resign can't do, Hannah? Sukhman's dad till this day hasn't resigned as a trustee. Right. It just makes you question, why are these people clinging on to power? Right. Let's bring a wider issue. If I said, Garman, I've got a job for you, you're not going to get paid, you're going to get sworn at all day, no one's going to like you, everyone's going to swear at your mum and dad as well, everyone's going to come to you complaining every day for 2 years, everything, you've got a responsibility, no one's going to be happy with you. Lania job, you need?
Absolutely not.
Right.
We need a counsellor on the site as well.
Right. Why would these people be so hard to cling on to this?
Right.
That's the question that people need to be asking. Why are there hundreds of thousands of pounds spent on Gurdwara elections when no one gets paid allegedly? What is in it? And after such this, where mistakes are made, why is no one admitting it and resigning? The 10 people from that committee resigned themselves. They asked these 4 people to resign, and they said, "Apani resign kar de." So they said, "You know what? We can't continue committee like this." They resigned. So props to them. At least they thought we'll do the decent thing. They didn't write the letter. It wasn't them, but they say it came from our organisation. We should have been careful. We should have checked it. We shouldn't have given these guys the authority or the power to do that. And that's owning up to your responsibility.
Basically, essentially.
Right. That's saying, basically putting your hands up. But the 4 who done it, they didn't.
Yeah,
So
I do think it's about, yet again, it's about Gurdwaras recognising it's for everyone in the community. It's a wider community thing. And our thoughts and prayers are with Ronan's family. I believe they haven't got enough closure yet and support from the community, and the Gurdwara should actually meet with them and maafi mangni chahiye. Just generally of how they've been and conducted themselves.
Just say sorry, letter galti na hogi. Any gal si. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੌਰੀ ਆ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਲੈਟਰ ਗਲਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਲਿਖੋ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਲਈ because their defense now we didn't know what it's being used for. The Pradhan said we didn't know where this letter was going to court or not. We didn't know what it's used for. That's not a defense.
No, but then this is a contradict themselves, because then Dad said that he spoke with them and told them everything.
Exactly. So they're blaming each other. Right.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is, when the Sangat raised the issue and one person raised the issue, he was attacked by 8 members, including the committee members, on Gurdwara premises. There's CCTV about that. There's a police case about that.
Right.
That's all on CCTV. The Sangat have seen the CCTV. The CCTV is still there in the Gurdwara.
So there is going to be more leading on to the future of this case.
But mushy.
Yeah, it's
It
wrong.
is. Yeah.
You're not explaining someone. So when someone wants the answers, you beat 7 mils out of a Buzurg, about 70 plus Buzurg.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So, in a wider sense of this, even from this issue and other issues, what gives you the motivation then to get involved in such sensitive topics and matters, especially if it's Gurdwara related? Because knowing the first thing people are going to say is that you don't look like you're a Sikh,
Bro, I get
and
it
that
all
you
the
don't
time.
have a bug and that you're cut hair. So, like, how do you?
Luckily, justice doesn't see that. Yeah. So is justice only for people who look a certain way? Yeah. Or practice a certain religion? Justice isn't about that. This is about what's right and wrong. This isn't about religion. Sikhi is the best religion, I think. It's the best. I always say, yeah, Sikhi is the best product. We just have the worst salesman. Yeah. Our representatives are not doing what's best in the name of Sikhi. They're doing their best in what's for themselves. And that's got to change. That has to change. And I'm the worst Sikh. Don't look at me as a Sikh. I'm the worst one. I cut my hair, my sharab pina, my meat khana. I do all the things that I'm not supposed to do. Yeah. I do all the things. So I've never called myself a good Sikh. Yeah. I hardly can even call myself a Sikh. मैं तो जो मेरे गुरु जी ने आदेश मैनू दिते आ मैं तो उन्हां दे प्रिंसिपल ते भी नहीं चल सकदा इन्ना माड़ा इंसान है मैं पर मेरे गुरु जी ने ਇਹ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਹੱਤਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੋ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਾਹ ਜਾਂਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਛੁਰੇ ਮਾਰੋ ਕੋਰਟ 'ਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨੋਟ ਗਿਲਟੀ ਕਰੋ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਲੈਟਰ ਹੈਡਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਾਤਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰੋ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਆਕੜੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਢਾਲੋ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੁੱਟੋ I can't remember reading that either somewhere.
Yeah.
Hannah?
Yeah.
So we're very selective in when it comes to what we want. Yeah, we very much pick and choose. Yeah? It's almost like a group of people don't want the truth to come out.
Yeah.
And being blocked from that. And it's like, well, why? Why don't you? And Sikhi's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Hannah, it should be inclusive. And it is inclusive. We welcome everyone. And Sikhs have stood up against injustice, whether they're committed by Hindus or Muslims or whatever, regardless of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even their own. Hannah? We've even fought our own. And now, all of a sudden, people are saying, well, why do you bring issues? It's not just Gurdwara issues. I'll go on TV and argue with, like you said, Suella Braverman.
Yeah.
I'm there arguing with Farajis and Jacob Reed-Moss, who are calling your communities bad. Yeah? I'll go and argue with the Tommy Robinsons and all that. Yeah, I'm on mainstream.
Yeah.
It's not as if I need this issue for publicity or increased followers.
That's what also they were mentioning.
People know who I am.
Yeah.
Them same people have been watching my show for 16 years. Right? Your mum and dad know who I am, right? Right? Your mum and dad know who I am. Yeah? My mum and dad don't know who those people are. I don't even know who these people are. So, like, people have been watching my show for ages. I've been on BBC Asian Network for 12 years, every month as their immigration guru. So you're trying to tell me people don't know who I am in my own community? They know who I am. I don't need to do this for followers and views and all that. I've never counted that. I've never counted that. You know what I mean? I've got the longest running live show on TV since 2007 on the same channel. Yeah. I've had the longest running stint as an immigration lawyer on a BBC network. 12 years. I was with Nihal on BBC. Right? Nihal's on Radio 5 now. Yeah. Sky. I've had a BBC documentary made about me.
Was it the Panorama one where about?
No, I had Life in a Day of an Immigration Lawyer on World Service.
Oh, okay.
World Service has millions of, World Service.
Sit in the bend and watch that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been in 2 panoramas.
Yeah.
I bought Ross Kemp to Southall.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I was walking down the street with Grant Mitchell in Southall. Right? I bought Ross Kemp to Southall. I've been in Bollywood Punjabi films opposite Jimmy Shergill. Right? I don't need this for publicity, but what I do know is what's right and what's wrong. Let's just right our wrongs. Why can't we do that? This all comes down to that thing about cleaning our own mess in the back garden, right?
I think that to me, like with the whole conversation we've had, in terms of it goes full circle. It goes, and I think it's quite beautiful and inspiring as well for myself. Like, you know, obviously I've got cut hair, you know,
but
I
you
do
get
the same
it.
thing as well. I get it as well.
You do.
And it's inspiring to see someone like you that's been in the industry for a long time and, you know, dealing with that and obviously getting on to next levels. And for me, I just want to say thank you as well, you know, for like your service, what you've done for people like me and Garman, you know, like to sort of go out there and inspiring others to create content, to, you know, inspire others as well and to push that, you know, for others.
Talk about dangerous topics.
Talk about dangerous topics as well.
Talk about it, man. You've got a big platform. Talk about it. It's all nice doing the funny skits and the laughs and all of that, yeah? That's all part of who we are.
Yeah.
Without that, all company chalna, hai na? But when it comes to, you got a voice and you got a platform, raise it. Be inspired by it. And do what's right. And when you start doing stuff that's right, you'll get targeted. Yeah? When you do a funny skit, the same people find you funny. All of a sudden they're turning on you because you're talking about something which they think exclusively they have a right to talk to, and you don't, because of the way you look. And yet, when it comes, if you went with the way you look to give their organisation a donation of £100,000 tomorrow, mate, Suropa as well, your name on the wall,
a bench as well, if you want.
A bench as well,
right?
So if money are bad, mate, why do you accept their donations? Issue there, galta issue, and what did this thing that happened? Is it right or is it wrong? And if you think it's right, then come and justify it. That's what we want. No one wants a fisticuff or a galam gal or tutu mama or anything like this. To see the so kere pakho, 99.9% is saying it's wrong, and yet some people are saying no, it's right. You can't justify it. Yeah. So
how do you manage when you get involved in a social issue? There's also impact mentally and personal 100%. Life. How do you manage personal life with your own family and dealing with issues as well in the public?
Bro, when I was trained as a lawyer, I started doing child law and like contact proceedings and all that. I used to come home so upset seeing mums using their kids against their dads using their kids against their mums, people who are in love and created life together, doing tutu mama, and the poor kid being kitched in between that. I used to come home and I used to start having a go at my garale. And they said, "Why are you angry?" And I said, "Tunu pata ki hoya." And they said, "But tu sade naal kaanu gusse na?" I used to sit there and I think, you know what, it's right. And then I stopped doing that area law. Then I thought, this is having an impact on my personal life. It's really hard to control. It's really hard for me to sit there and last 3 weeks explaining to my kids what happened. Yeah. And when your kids see you parishan and see you getting attacked from outside, then they think, "Oh my God, why is this happening to my daddy? Why is this happening to my, our family?" And my wife sits there and thinks, "Well, why are you getting involved in this?" Luckily, my wife understands why I get involved. I've got a supportive partner. Yeah. And she's a very private person. Yeah. And this sort of thing brings attention. Yeah. And so, yeah, I have been in that position where I thought, Harjap chad. And then I thought, you know what, Harjap je tu aaj chad deta, kal nu tere naal hoi, te lokan ne kehna chad. So tomorrow, God forbid, any of this happen to your kids, and you stay silent now, when you go out there asking for justice, do you know what everyone's going to say? Don't be expecting others then. Right? And that's not what community is about. We're supposed to help each other. We're the guys who came here and helped each other settle. 3 families in a house. Used to help each other, doing shifts, working in foundries, helping each other buy houses. Yeah? I heard a story the other day that when someone came in the 1970s here, they had a house and the banda started drinking alcohol, got into bad ways. They tried to repossess her house. She was going to lose her house. The whole community got together, £11,000 saved that woman's house back then. If your house was getting repossessed tomorrow, how much do you think the community nowadays would come together?
They wouldn't bother.
They wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But they've got money for babbe. Yeah, they've got money for flash cars. They've got money to do big parties and weddings, which I'm saying good. If you've got money, it's your money, you can spend it how you want to. But the sense of community isn't there. Because no one can be invested in their community. No one's bothering to be invested in the community. Because you know what I think? It's the whole mentality of going back to thinking,
just let it happen.
Yeah, we'll move out. Let the gunda take care of itself. So we've got to take care of our own. It all starts on. You have a platform. I'm so glad you've been invited here. Props to you, because you have given this issue airtime. Yeah, when there are so many people, so many channels out there, our own channels.
Yeah,
we haven't said a word on this. You said that, or you watched on a channel an ad from that Gurdwara saying "Kalu meeting nahi honi."
Yeah.
Right, so they did an ad. Hannah?
Yeah.
But where was the show?
Yeah.
But Ronan?
Yeah.
Where's the fairness?
Yeah, there needs to be quality. And do you know what? I
and
think
that just adds to the narrative. Why? Because the kid wasn't a Sikh.
That's the thing, and we'll never know. But I hope we know.
But you give people an opportunity to say that, then, don't you?
Yeah, we know the case is finished, but there's still that healing, and I hope Ronan's family can, our thoughts are with them, and we hope there's reform in the future. And and I do appreciate you obviously coming down, speaking about these issues, and providing so much insight on our community. And
I've got loads of stuff to say.
Yeah, I know. And we're gonna have a second part as well, which will be interesting.
That's going to be the unfiltered part.
That's the unfiltered naughty part. But
before we sign
that's why
off,
you need to subscribe.
But before we sign off, guys, shout out to Full of Fat Clothing for giving us the merchandise.
Yeah, Full of Fat Clothing. You got to give it a bit of love. I'm wearing a Musa like top. I know you.
Easy, take it easy. Easy, rapper upper aga.
See,
he's
actually we're both wearing. Well, yeah.
That was a dog.
I'm not gonna say anything about that. But you know what? Check them out.
Check it out. The material is absolutely fantastic. The print quality is great as well. So head over to the website, get your order in. I think it's 10% off for the first order.
I'm gonna get them to make a legal solutions one. There are a few quotes. Lado. There's some classic quotes put on there. There's an idea for your t-shirt.
There you go. But yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you're not a Bainsainye member, become a Bainsainye member. It's only £4 a month.
That's it.
There you go. All right, guys, and we are out.